Alright, I have now beaten Elden Ring on New Game Plus 7, DLC Plus no HUD. I've done all the Remembrance bosses and some others. So I'm now going to rank them in two separate tier lists, one based on how good I think they are and how difficult I think they are. So let's just get started quick with Margit. I think Margit's okay. In terms of difficulty, definitely in terms of when you first fight him as like the first major boss, he's definitely like, based on that experience, he would be like a B tier in difficulty, but fighting him more, I would say it's like a C tier. He's very aggressive, and that can be a little bit difficult to deal. That can be pretty difficult to deal with sometimes. In terms of quality, Margit is also, I think, about a C. I just don't like how aggressive it is. It's not really something I like in these bosses. It'll be a trend that'll continue in other bosses. Like, when I say aggressive, I mean so many attacks in rapid succession in a way that's like, there is a way, I'm assuming there is a way to dodge it, but I haven't been able to figure out how to do it consistently. So bosses with attacks like those, usually I don't like very much. So next, let's do Godric. Where's Godric? I cannot find Godric. Oh, there he is. Godric, here's a difficulty. He is definitely D in terms of difficulty. He is not very difficult. He's very exploitable. Also, doesn't have very like complex attack patterns like Margit. I suppose that's the point, but I do think for where he is in the game, he's a good boss. I think Godric is probably a B in terms of quality. It's a fine boss, it just doesn't wow me in any way. I think it's solid for where it is. So moving on to, I'm just going to do these in the order that they come to mind or whatever in the videos. So next, Red Wolf of Radagon. Again, I don't like how aggressive it is, or so I would say, but I'm going to put it in C for difficulty. See, I would say I don't like how aggressive it is, but it only has like 3 attacks, so it's honestly not too difficult to figure out how to deal with it consistently. It's just its difficulty, I would say it's harder than Godric just because of how aggressive it is. But I used to hate it, but I think I like it more since it's meant to be like aggressive and low HP. In terms of quality, I would also put it in B, but I'd put it above Godric. I think it just left a better impression on me, and I like the design more. So moving on to Renala. Renala is easier than Godric. Renala is super easy. It's super low HP. The first phase is a joke, and the second phase is, well, very exploitable. Like the fact that she always does the comet as her first attack, you can just run up and just smack her, is really like bring down the difficulty. So that can, and the fact that a lot of the difficulty just comes from the additional enemies that she summons, where you can just run away from those if you have like even a little bit of stamina, and they'll despawn pretty quickly. But I would also give Renala a B. I think I like it less than Godric. The fight is just not very fun, but I can't say it's bad. Moving on to what comes after Renala. Makar, I'm not gonna rank that. I'm gonna put all the ones I'm not gonna rank in the back. So Ancestor Spirit, Makar, Gargoyles, this guy. Actually depends. If this is, I don't see Commander Neil, so maybe I'll just use this in place of Commander Neil. Okay. I don't know what this is, so I'm gonna put it here. Dragonkin Soldier, I'm not gonna rank it. Mariah Executioner, no. Godskin, Noble, no. Landon Misbegotten, no. Mimic Tier, no. Ghost Loretta, no. Yeah, and then Gargoyles, no. Okay. So after Renala, I think I did Star Scourge. Okay, Star Scourge is... See, I'm conflicted because when you first play it, Star Scourge is incredibly difficult. Like, I'd say like A or like low S in difficulty when you first play it, but the the thing is, I've played through the game like about 6 times now. I've started a new profile 6 times now, so, and Radon does not have a lot of HP, so he goes down pretty quickly. Like, you can easily overload him with damage before he gets into phase 2, and you can have a very short phase 2. If you don't do that, then phase 2 is quite difficult. I'd give him a B in terms of difficulty. In terms of quality, again, a B. Probably less than, probably around, probably high B. Sorry if it seems like I'm crowding B, but I just generally don't care for the early game bosses that much. But yeah, so yeah, it's not that difficult. Well, it's moderately difficult, and it's like it's okay as a boss. I don't know. None of these make a really big impression on me. Maybe it's because I only got Elden Ring last year. I didn't play Star Scourge on release, so he didn't really feel that difficult. Moving on to, let's see, Regal Ancestor Spirit. I think that's what I did next. This one's a weird one because I haven't really fought it that much, and then I stopped. Basically, what I did was when I was grinding up to New Game +7, I only fought like the bare minimum of bosses, and then some extra ones that I wanted to. So I haven't fought this on like higher difficulties. So it was quite a surprise to see how tanky it was. I wouldn't necessarily it's difficult. I would say it's probably here, and I would say it's probably not as hard as Margit. The difficulty on like higher New Game pluses is just how much HP it has. So if you're patient, it's really not that hard. I did die to it once, but after that I got the hang of it pretty quickly. It's a cool boss though. I'd say in terms of, let me just organize these also so that I don't have to worry about them. I'd say it's a cool boss though. I'd say it's A tier in quality. It's like the setting, like it's a very extra boss in the sense that it doesn't really, at least from what I know, it doesn't really have any connection to the rest of Elden Ring, so it's very unique in that sense. It's kind of a standalone thing. That's why I don't really judge it based on story. So it's just a cool little thing. So I think it deserves A. Moving on to Astel. I'd say Astel's a C in terms of difficulty. It's maybe I need to start moving rearranging things because it feels like everything is just very not difficult. But Astel is like when you first fight it. I guess that's the case for all these bosses because it's a Souls game. But let's say Astel is not that hard. It's like if you stay close to it, it can't really do anything besides like the grabbing attacks and the swiping. So you just need to know when to run away when it's doing like the wide range attacks, and it's not that hard to figure out. In terms of quality though, I'd say it's like, when I first fought it, I thought it was really cool. I'm hesitant to put it above Star Scourge. If I put it above Radon, I want to put it in A, but I don't think it deserves A, so I'll put it below Radon. I think Radon is a better boss. Still has some weird stuff, like the grab attack in phase 2. Yeah. I might need to move some stuff down to like. You know what? I'll move Radon up to A. I think it's fine, like low A. Next up, let's see what's next. Goldfree. Okay, Goldfree I'd say is like low C in terms of difficulty. I'd say it's harder than the Wolf. It's an okay boss. Like, it's only phase 1 of Godfrey, but just not as difficult, so it's pretty simple to figure out, and it doesn't have a lot of HP, so you can kind of just power through it and not really learn the moveset. That's what I did at first. That's why I know. In terms of quality, I honestly... I think it's about here. It's fine. Like, I think this is where it'll reach. I think finally this is where it'll reach the point where we can start branching out more. But I think this is the last one where I'll just say it's fine. It's all right. But it's like, I don't know. Again, all these really easy bosses just kind of go down quickly, and it's like you don't really care much about them, at least in my experience. Now, moving on to Morgott. Difficulty, definitely A. That's definitely not the popular opinion, but I struggled so much with Morgott. This is the boss that, like, so Elden Ring was my first Souls game. I didn't really understand Souls combat, so back then, so I was using, like, sword and shield and not dodge rolling at all, so I was struggling a lot, and Morgott is the boss that basically forced me to just drop the shield and finally start dodge rolling. So, and even now I struggle with Morgott. Like, it's like the combos of Margit, but like maxed out. And now as I learn more to like strafe more instead of like just dodge spamming, I think Morgott's a little bit easier, but definitely A tier in terms of difficulty. In terms of quality, though, I very much dislike Morgott. I'd say, yeah, I think I like it less than Margit just because Margit's easier. I don't like how aggressive Morgott is, and I just don't like the speed at which whenever he does like the light sword attacks, it's like it just appears out of nowhere, and it's like so annoying to like react to. I just don't like Morgott. But I wouldn't call it like it's like low C. I wouldn't say it's D tier. Okay, moving on. After Morgott, did Rykard? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes. Now Rykard. Rykard is not hard. It's just not hard. It's a gimmick boss, which I mean, it's a good gimmick boss in the sense that, like, it. Okay, well, I'll say that for the quality rating. It's a gimmick boss. It's like you do a lot of damage to it, and the moveset is like not very complex. Like, especially with like God Devouring Serpent, it's just a bunch of biting attacks. The only thing I'd say is the ground like slam attack where it like generates the AoE, that seems undodgeable. I don't know. I usually kill it before that happens, and then like the poison attack is a little bit annoying, but other than that, it's like, and then also the thing where you can like stun lock him in phase 2 with the L2 is like, yeah, Rykard is not difficult. In terms of quality though, Rykard is definitely S tier. I think this is a top 3 base game bosses for me. I used to say top 1, I've been reconsidering that, but I think Rykard is fantastic. The music is great. It feels great to use the Serpent Hunter against it. Yeah, I think Rykard's great. Next, Fire Giant. I'd say Fire Giant is a B in terms of difficulty, just because of the health and like the camera and the jank and all that. Also, Phase 2 is a little bit weird. I only figured out recently that it's better to just like bait it into using the hand attacks. But it's like if it is able to like get away from you and spam the fire attacks, it can be quite difficult. And even like then when you're playing optimally, it's a long fight, so it can be quite difficult. I think B tier is good. However, in terms of quality, I'd say I like it less than Morgott. It's just a very boring fight, and it's very easy to just get. No, you know what? I want to put it in D. The terrain, like the slanted terrain, is bad. It's just bad. I don't like it. Yeah, like the more I think about it, the more I don't like Fire Giant. It just like bad terrain is one of the worst things that can happen in a fight, especially one as long as this, and it's so easy to get unlucky. Especially when there's like ridges that cause like elevation like glitches and all that. No, I don't like it. Next, oh, okay, Godskin Duo. This is definitely S tier in terms of difficulty. This is it's just it's just not like great. Like this is one of the fights. So for a handful of fights in this NG+7 run, I just threw away my build and used the Blasphemous Blade and like incantations and physic, and because I could not deal with these fights, like either because they were so annoying and not fun, or because they were just unfair. This is just not fair. This is like I wouldn't say it's the most difficult thing, but it's just not a well designed fight. It's also a similar reason why I don't like Ornstein and Smo, because like taking two bosses and then having you fight them at the same time is not the same as creating a 2-on-1 boss fight. Like Demon Prince is a great example of a 2-on-1 boss fight that's amazing, but this is just bad. In terms of quality, well, I don't know if my mic picked that up, but I was making a bunch of fart noises. This is terrible. I hate it. This shouldn't exist. I don't even know why they made it required to progress. I don't know why they're in Crumbling Pharaoh Missoula. They suck. And I don't want to talk about them anymore. Next, where's he at? Malekith the Black Blade. In terms of difficulty, this is, I'd say, A tier. It's very, very difficult, especially on higher new game cycles. He's very fast and aggressive, but out and the Destined Death, the Death Flame debuff is very very punishable. Like many times I've died to it, like from the residual damage, and also something like the Destined Death attack, uh, and like the projectiles definitely easy to catch you, and they're very like weird to dodge. I used to think Phase 1 was harder, but then I just realized that I was just spamming Blasphemous Blade and not really wanting to get good. So I got good. But yeah, Malekith, I'd say, is definitely an A tier boss. Uh, in terms of quality, I would definitely say Malekith is S tier. I'm not. I think it's interchangeable with Rykard. I would probably right now put Malekith above Rykard. I'm reserving S plus for the top 3 or top 5. I haven't decided yet, but definitely top 3. If there's not a lot in S, then I'll leave it at top 3. If there's a lot in S, I'll make it top 5. But yeah, I think Malekith is really, really good. It's super fun. It's very very fast paced, similar to Red Wolf, where it's like low HP but very aggressive. but it's a very fair fight, and it's always it's a great feeling uh, to get through this fight. Moving on to where is he? Huh. Where is Gideon? Is not here. Alright, then. Okay, Gideon. Difficulty B. Now, a lot of people say Gideon is a joke, and on on lower new game cycles, he is very much a joke. But on New Game Plus 6 and 7, oh my god. He just spams and spams attacks, and he basically one-shots you, and it's so easy, and he has so many projectile attacks, so if you step away from him for like a second, he'll just spam, and because he's like an NPC character and he does the dodge rolls, it's so easy to just miss an attack, and he'll just punish you for it and just straight up kill you. It's so difficult on higher new game cycles, and I want to put it in A just for that, but because of how easy it is on like lower new game cycles, I'll put it like low B, like maybe between Radon and Fire Giant. But yeah, it's a terrible boss. I put it in F tier alongside Gods Can Do It. I'd say Gods Can Do It was worse, but it's just so bad. I like these last two new game cycles just give me a visceral hatred for Gideon. Next, Godfrey and Horalu. I'd say this is A in terms of difficulty. For Godfrey is decently hard. If it was just Godfrey the whole time around, like just a harder version of Goldfrey, but like with more HP, I'd probably put it in B. But Horalu is very aggressive, and that's like very difficult to like find a way to beat it. So especially on higher new game cycles where you can't like power your way through. So I'd give him A. I might. I think it might be harder than Malekith, uh, just because of how much HP he has and how, and like paired with the aggressiveness. Yeah, I think A is good. In terms of quality, I'd say low A. It's a nice fight. I don't love it, but it's really good. I think these two are better. It's just I don't know. It's like phase one is really if phase one is like if it was just phase one, it would be an A tier, no doubt in my mind. But phase two, I think, makes it a little bit iffy in my mind. But I'd give it low A. Next up, moving on to, I think this is the commander in Kaled, but I'm gonna treat this as Commander Neil. In terms of difficulty, I'd say it's harder than I'd say it's like a below Fire Giant. I think if it was just him and not the two extra enemies, I would put it in like low C. But again, I just don't like it when there are two like more than one enemy in bosses. So I'd say Commander Neil is C in quality. I think worse than Morgott. Like C in quality and B in difficulty. Low B, low C. If it was just him by himself, it would be not that difficult. Moving on next, Loretta. Loretta, Knight of the Halo Tree. In terms of difficulty, I'd say this is about a C. It's basically just a buffed tree sentinel, which is like, as long as you can dodge the projectiles easily, it's not that bad. The problem comes when it starts spamming the projectiles, which can be pretty annoying, but most of the time it's pretty fine. Yeah, but then in terms of quality, again, I'd say it's like a high C. I don't like it very much. Tree Sentinel is not a very interesting boss, so even like an upgraded version of it is not going to be that great. Next up, Moog. Moog is, I would say, S tier in terms of difficulty. Probably harder than Godskin Duo. It's just the delayed attacks, and that's basically all of Moog's attacks, so it's very difficult to get used to. And and then also the blood flame in the second phase is, it can get out of hand very quickly. It's very easy to just accidentally walk into it, and especially with how punishing the second phase is. Like the blood flame acts similarly to the Deathfire or whatever this is called, but yeah, Moog is definitely top 3 hardest base game bosses. In terms of quality, I'd also... Oh, this is the wrong Moog. This is Moog the Omen. No, this Moog. This Moog is S. Yes, so... Moog, Lord of Blood, I would also say is an S tier boss. It's super fun once you get it down, and I like the story behind Moog, and I think the arena and the music is very, very good. Oh, Dragon Lord Placidus X. Okay. Difficulty, definitely high A. I think this is like, it gets very difficult if you don't have the right weapon. Like, he will always have a lot of health, and with how much he like moves around, especially in the second phase, and also it's a dragon fight, so it's like, and that also one where you can't really hit the head, so it's like you're just kind of shuffling around the back trying to avoid the fire attacks where he's like breathing backwards, which is like very annoying to deal with. So I'd really, it's a very difficult fight, but I wouldn't quite say it's S tier yet, because S tier is for like stuff that like pushes you, or stuff that's like unfair. And again, S plus is for top 3. Yeah, and then in terms of quality, yeah, in terms of quality for Placidus X, this is a C tier. I'll put it above these because the, I'll put it low B. This is like, I wouldn't say I feel meh about this boss, but it's like very polarizing because the story, like the design and like the arena and like the music, and it's a very cinematic fight, and it's very cool, but the fight itself is not fun. That's why it's like low B, high C, probably low B, just because of like how cool it is, and that's a big factor for me, like how cool it is, because especially when learning these bosses, I don't really have the greatest time. It's only when I like really master them that I really enjoy them. Uh, but like even now, when I do decently well against this boss, I really don't enjoy fighting it. Just it has so much HP in it. It's like very tanky, and it's also like the dual Midir beam is like a one shot, and I don't like that. Any other base game bosses here? Let's Dragon Fortisax. Uh, this is not hard. Mm, I'll put it above these. I'll put it above Margit because of how much H. Because wait, no, it's not harder than Margit. Fortisax is really easy because it's basically a post game. It's basically a late game boss, but it's basically a mid game boss. But you will pretty much only fight it in the late game, and it doesn't have a lot of HP, and so yeah, it dies from just a few hits. Quality wise, though, List Dragon Fortis Axe is great. I'd say it's an A tier in terms of quality. The only reason I wouldn't give it an S tier is because, well, it's basically an ancient dragon, which I really dislike. Thankfully, it has some extra moves that make it. Thankfully, it has like a different moveset that makes it better to fight. But I really do not like Fortis, the ancient dragon base moveset. And so for that reason, like you want to aim for the head with these, but it can be really difficult to do that with ancient dragons. So it's a little bit annoying. Next, Melania. Uh, Obviously S plus in terms of difficulty. Like that was never a question. Uh, this is definitely this one of the top 3 hardest bosses in all of Souls. Uh, Waterfowl Dance, even to this day, like I cannot consistently dodge it. Like it'll always get at least one hit in, like most of the time. And especially if you don't have the right weapon, like it can be difficult to deal with Melania. Uh, in terms of quality, this one's a little bit iffy. I'd say it's here. I think it's a great boss when she's not using Waterfowl Dance. Waterfowl Dance is kind of unfair, and it can sometimes just be a complete like kill. So and with the health steal, it can stack up pretty easily, and especially if like you're backed into a corner and you can't properly dodge Waterfowl. Even with some of her other attacks, yeah. If Waterfowl was taken away, I'd probably put it in S, but mm, I think A tier is good. Now we're moving into the DLC bosses. Yes, okay. Let's start with Dancing Lion. This is S tier in difficulty. This is the camera boss fight. Like it's so easy for it to just lock you into a corner and then just like move around, and then it's so annoying to deal with. And the way, I just don't like how like mobile it is, and it just darts around. Yeah, that's also why in terms of quality I'm putting it in D tier. I do not enjoy fighting this whenever I do. That's why I usually skip it on higher new game cycles. It's just I can't. It's just not fun to fight. I know some people really like it, but I usually just want something that's like consistent, or like, I guess, not simple to figure out, but I like the more straightforward bosses, with the few exceptions. Um, Next up, Rolana. Okay, this might be a hot take, but I think Rolana is also a top 3 hardest bosses in the game. I think Melania is harder, but Rolana is insanely difficult. Like, again, this is why I say so aggressive. Like the combos just never end, and there's very like basically no time to rest. Like I have to resist the urge to just like run away and then just maintain my distance all the time. When I know the optimal strategy is to stay close and to just keep piling on damage and keep dodging, but it's so difficult to do that, and it's so easy for damage to just stack up and for you to just die so easily, especially with the attacks where she does the upward swing with the upward swing like twice in a row with the swords. It's so easy for that to just catch you off guard and deal like a huge chunk of damage, and then for the combos to start, especially in the second phase where the combos get like twice as long, added with like the projectile magic beam or whatever, and like the fire thing that the Abyss Watcher fire, like after blow or whatever it's called. Rolana is insane. That's also, but again, like I said, I dislike aggressive bosses, so I'm gonna put Rolana in D tier. I don't think I'll put it at the bottom of C tier. I dislike it a lot, but it is satisfying to defeat. But yeah, I think this is probably good. What's next? Golden Hippo. Screw this boss. It's so easy for it to just stack up damage, and then like with especially in the second phase where it just spams the needle attacks, and also every attack like staggers you, and no, especially on higher new game cycles where like everything 1 or 2 shots you. Oh, it's so difficult. And this is an F tier boss. This is I'd say it's worse than Gods Can Do. This is like it's oh my god, I don't have words for how bad this is, and it's not even I'm just gonna move on. Like I hate it. It's bad. Mesmer. Mesmer's an A tier in terms of difficulty. I'd say since it gets more consistent than Horaloo, so I'd say it's about here. It's a very fair fight, so and it gets very consistent. Just did Mesmer for difficulty. Okay, Mesmer for quality. Mesmer is definitely S plus in terms. No, I'd say Mesmer is S in terms of quality. I'll see if he's S plus later, but he's definitely better than everything we've talked about so far. Like I said, very very fair, very very consistent, and like a lot of fun to fight. I always do no HUD when I fight Mesmer, even when I wasn't doing this playthrough. And the second phase is great. Next up, let's do Bale. Bale in terms of difficulty, I'd say is around here. I think he's easier than Placidusax, just because like he's very because of how consistent Bale gets. But learning Bale and like getting consistent with it is very very difficult. But Bale is great. Bale is awesome. But he's very very aggressive. That seems to be a common trend, but like the difference between the good aggressive and the bad aggressive is like when the fight feels fair, and like with a couple of these they don't feel fair. Bale is very very fair, and it's very cinematic and it's very cool and I love it, and it's S plus. This is definitely without doubt top 3 best bosses in the game. It always feels so cool to fight Bale. It's also another boss that I always do no HUD. It's amazing. It's great. That's also why I used it for the thumbnail, because it's just like every single like attack that it does in phase 2 with the wings. When the wings come out, you know you're in for a treat. Like Bale is just cinema. Next up, Putrescent Knight. B. No, C. Putrescent Knight is not that difficult, and it doesn't really do much too. Like its moveset is not very complex, and in terms of quality, I'd also not rate it very high, just because it's so like I can't say it's a bad boss, but it's so bland that I really like can't place it any higher than C. Like it's such a nothing boss in my mind. Like, it just does not leave any impression whatsoever, other than like I don't know. I think I'm alone in this, but I feel like the music is like, pretty goofy. Like when he just sort of like pops up on screen. I don't know. That's pretty. It's pretty. He's pretty goofy, but beyond that, it's just such a nothing boss. Moving on to the man, the myth, the legend, Scattertree Avatar. This is definitely A tier in difficulty. No, yet. Well, high B. Scattertree Avatar is difficult, especially with the 3 phases, and also being a big boss. It can be with like a very focused like weak point. Those two things don't really go well together, which can make it like pretty weird to fight Scattertree Avatar. And also like the spread thorn attacks are very difficult to deal with. But once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. But it is like a very big learning curve. And it's also like pretty annoying to deal with sometimes, which is why I'm gonna place it in C tier. It did leave more of an impression on me from Future Night. I think the design is great, the arena is great. The fight itself is not the best. I think it's not very fun to do for the reasons I mentioned earlier. Yeah. Moving on to Commander Gaius. I used to hate this boss, but I think because of the undodgeable like boar charge. Obviously, it's not undodgeable. Like I've gotten a little bit more consistent at it. I'd say it's not as difficult as Scattertree Avatar, but it makes up for that in like being annoying. But like I said, I have gotten more consistent. It's like on the same level as Scattertree Avatar, but I'd say I'd swap them. Like Scattertree Avatar is more difficult, but Gaius is more enjoyable. But again, that's not saying much because both of them aren't great. And I especially don't like in Gaius where it's like he piles up like the gravity attacks and it's hard to deal with all of them, especially with like the gravity hole thing that like pulls you in, and that's coupled with some of his other attacks. Like he can combo you pretty easily. Bosses that can easily like just lock you into a combo and kill you are like those are always major like bad points. Next up, Metir, Mother of Fingers. Holy moly. Okay, this is a weird one because on lower new game cycles, it's honestly, I would say it's like a B tier in difficulty because it's so easy to just overpower it and just kill it easily before it can do much. But on higher new game cycles, holy crap! I want to put this in S, but because of how easy it is on lower new game cycles, I'm no, you know what? Screw this. I'm putting it in S. This thing will two-shot you, and there's also so many attacks that just feel undodgeable, and then the literal undodgeable attack. Like the second phase attack where it spawns like the orbs, it's like it feels completely random, and especially if you're in the orbs like spawn range, it's easy to just get one spawn underneath you and hit you. The Beyblade attack is like this so stupid, and then the literal undodgeable laser beam, unless you have Raptor of the Mists. Oh my god, it's and the fact that it two shots you on New Game Plus. No, you know what? I'm putting it above Dancing Line. It's so difficult, and of course, this is probably the worst boss in the game. It doesn't have any redeeming qualities other than like the lore. It's so not fun to fight. Like this is the one I think you'll see it in the video. Like were bosses that I was just done with, like these three. I had to use the Blasphemous Blade. I physically could not beat this with the Blasphemous Blade and like buffs and physic and all that. I had to switch to like Moore's. I had to switch to like the Verdigris armor set, and I had to like look up the weakness of the boss, which is like the slash attacks. So I switched to like the Scavenger's curved sword, and I dual wielded, and I like also buffed myself to Oblivion, so I could just jump attack, spam it, and like bleed it out as fast as I could. And even then, like I'm pretty sure I used up all of my like my Crimson Flasks. Like this is insane. It's just so not fun to fight. This was the one that frustrated me the most, like in this entire New Game Plus 7 run. But yeah, moving on. Next up, I want Jory is not here, but he's in the video. I guess it's not that important in terms of difficulty. Jory's like a C, and also in terms of quality, it's just kind of a meh boss. Midra. Difficulty, I'd say Midra is around here. I think Morgott is harder. Midra has a sort of a big. Midra gets very consistent, which is not what I can say for Morgott, which is why I would put it below Morgott. But Midra gets very, very consistent. I think uh, it's a very well balanced fight, and it's very, very learnable. I used to not like Midra because, well, every the problem with Midra is that I guess we can move to quality now. Basically, it's A tier because it's very difficult, but it's very fair and learnable, and it gets consistent pretty quickly. Also, phase one is not that difficult. Even then, like all the attacks are very well coordinated, so it's easy to like pick up. In terms of quality, Midra is far and away S plus. This is the best boss in Elden Ring, without a doubt in my mind. Which is saying something because the path to get to Midra is some of the worst garbage I have ever experienced. You have to find the hidden entrance in the Shadow Keep. Then you have to run through a furnace golem. Then you have to deal with birds. Then platforming, more platforming. Then you have to deal with like a catacombs, which are never great. Then Jory, which is a slog. Then the Abyssal Wood, which is one of the worst sections gameplay wise to ever come out of a FromSoft game. Like, I don't know what they were thinking with that. And then you have to do Midra's Mance, which is with like what the Divine Beast Warriors. Yeah, like that should say something about how good this boss is. That I'm able to just like the fact that no matter what new game cycle I'm on or no matter what game I'm playing, I always go out of my way to fight Midra, despite all of the crap that leads up to it. Should say something about how much this boss is just amazing. This is the greatest boss FromSoft has ever made, and I don't think that'll ever change in my mind. But who knows? They could just suddenly pop off in their next games. But yeah, Midra is awesome, and it's so cinematic. Like I should stop. It's great. Moving on, Romina. Uh, Romina's like here. No, I'd say Romina's about here. The trick with Romina is just you got to stay close. If you try to keep your distance from Romina, it'll end up not working well. As long as you can figure out how to dodge the attacks and stay close, everything will work out pretty fine. Can be a little bit weird to figure out, but it's honestly not that bad. In terms of quality, it's also like about a B. I'd say about here. I think it's alright. I think it's solid. Obviously, story wise, I couldn't care less. Like, I don't know if there even is a story. Uh, Design wise, I think the centipede is cool. I don't know why they copied Quelaag, but yeah, I don't really have much more to say about it. Next up, Leda. Okay. I think it depends because I've had really easy times with this boss and I've had really hard times with this boss. I'd say it's on average about like middle of the road. It really just depends, like, because you could make this boss as easy as you want by like just having it so that's Leda, Dane, and then Hornsent, and then summoning like the random Sanguine Noble. So and with that, it's like really easy. But if you do like the whole thing where you get like those three and uh, Freya and more, and then you also have, but then you like bring Ansbach and Tiolier. That's really really difficult. That's why I had to use Blasphemous Blade because I was super difficult. But but that's because I made it harder for myself. It's really not that bad. Like I'd say middle of the road is fine. In terms of quality, I don't like it very much. Story is not really the big driving point for me. So like obviously if there is a good story, like I'll appreciate it. But the thing I didn't really interact with any of these characters much besides Ansbach, so I don't really care about the story leading up to that point. So I don't know. It's just kind of a really weird jank fight for me. All right, we're almost there. Radagon. In terms of difficulty, I'd say Radagon is about here. I'd say Radagon is easier than Mesmer. Very aggressive, but actually still quite fair. I don't like the shockwave attacks, and I think the shockwave attacks can catch you off guard really easily, and also like the projectiles, like like I said, the combos when they have an opportunity to combo you and they get it, like it's very hard to recover from that. But for the most part, I think Radagon is fine. In terms of quality, I think Radagon is also A tier. I think probably not as good as Melania, but better than everything else here. Uh, it's a very enjoyable fight, and it's very fast paced, and like it really feels like a true duel between two warriors, which is very nice. Um, yeah, I think I think Radagon is nice. Now, moving on to Elden Beast. Uh, I think Elden Beast is easier than Radagon. I think Elden Beast is like probably low B in difficulty because it's like on my first playthrough I beat Elden Beast like second try just because it's a big boss. The only reason that adds difficulty is because it moves around a lot, and then it also has like the projectile attacks and also Elden stars, like which again it can like pile up, which can be difficult, but I guess it just depends on your weapon. But I've never really had a lot of trouble with Elden Beast, which I guess is fitting because it's two bosses in a row. So I guess they individually they wouldn't be overly difficult. But yeah, I think Radagon is definitely a lot harder. Like the weapon matchups really matter for Radagon, not so much for Elden Beast. With Elden Beast, you just gotta be patient. With hmm, with quality, Elden Beast, I would say is about I'd say top of B tier. I like Elton Beast. I think the music is very good. I think the setting and like the spectacle of it is fine. Gameplay wise, not my favorite, but I'm willing to overlook that because it's not like atrocious. It's just kind of not. It's just not great. Elden Ring is like good. It's like my reaction to it would be like, yeah, that's good. There's not much more I can say about it. And finally, Promised Consort Radon. Huh. I don't have any for difficulty in F. I guess I'll put Rykard in F then for difficulty. Wow, lag. Okay. Promised Consort Radon for difficulty, absolutely S plus. This is without doubt the hardest FromSoft boss ever created. It's way harder than Melania. It's like the reaction time required, the boss like move pull. Like there are some moves here that I just still haven't figured out, like the Pontiff combo. Like and basically the difficulty here just comes from how much it just feels like he's constantly assaulting you with all of his attacks. He's constantly on the offense, and then all it takes is just one attack to slip you up. And I should hate this boss. Like it has all the things that I don't like about some of these like lower rated bosses. Like the terrain can be really bad, especially for the Pontiff combo. Uh, and also like the gravity attack where he like does like the clone slamming down after that. Uh, he moves around I wouldn't say. Yeah, no, because like especially in phase 2 it can be hard to see what attacks he does because of like the hair. He's just as aggressive, maybe a little bit less aggressive than Rolana. I should hate this boss, but for some reason I just don't. Maybe it's because I knew it was the hardest boss created before I went into it, so my mindset was different. But it's like fighting this boss just feels so great to pull off. It's like I I would put it in S plus. Like I used to think this was my favorite FromSoft boss. As I fought in it more, I've liked it less, but because of like for the issues I mentioned earlier. But I just think it's such a fantastic ending to Elden Ring, and like the music is so great. One of if not the best Elden Ring or From Software soundtrack. The cinematic of the fight is great. I beat it twice pre nerf. I think it was like it had glaring issues. I think it was okay pre nerf, but it had definitely had very glaring issues. I think it's awesome post nerf, and it still like demands like the absolute like your absolute like peak skill to defeat it. I think yeah, definitely. So I think yeah, it's great. I think that's it. Yeah. Uh, in terms of difficulty, yeah, definitely Radon, Melania, and Rolana are the top 3 hardest, and I've ordered them within the tiers. With how I would say with difficulty. And then in terms of quality, I think I'm good with this too. I've also ordered them within the tiers. Definitely, these are probably my top 3 favorite From Software bosses. And these are definitely the top 3 most difficult From Software bosses for me. Elden Ring is just it's one of the greatest games ever created, and it's like introduced me to like a whole new style of gaming that I never really like experienced before, and I didn't even realize that I would love this much. That's not to say it doesn't have its bad moments. Like a lot of Elden Ring is just complete slop, but the fact that you can skip all of it is what and just only do the good stuff is what makes it so good. So yeah, that's Elden Ring. Thanks for watching, if you do, and yeah, goodbye.